Let's pick up with where we left off in the last video. So I'm looking at the file as we left it then. What we're talking about now is how we use HTML to structure the content on a page. So we've already added an H1 element, an H2 element, and an H3 element, and you can see that those structure the content a little bit differently. The H1 makes the text big, huge, and bold, and then the H2 and H3 make smaller headings for like subheadings. So what we're doing is we're using these elements H1, H2, and H3 to provide structure for the content that's inside of those elements. Okay, let's explore a few more basic elements in HTML to structure content. If you want to add a paragraph of content, you use a P element. So I'm going to put my cursor here underneath the H3, and I'm just going to press P and then tab. We'll let Sublime Text do all the work for us as far as the syntax. And you can see it put in an opening P tag and a closing P tag. I'm going to go ahead and hit return to split those two apart, and I can go ahead and type in a paragraph right here like that. I'll just type in some nonsense. This is a paragraph. And you can see in these other examples here, I put the entire element and its contents all on one line. With paragraphs, they can run long, so usually we want to format paragraphs by separating the opening P tag from the closing P tag, and then all the sentences within the paragraph can go in between. I want to point out something that's a little subtle right here. I'm going to hit return and add a new line here. This is another sentence. I suppose my word above should have said sentence, not paragraph. But anyways, so if I hit Control S to save here, and then Alt Tab to go back over to the browser, where is it here? I've got a lot of stuff open. I'll hit the F5 button to refresh. Now, even though I put a return carriage between my two sentences, they don't show up in the browser. So you'll see later, if you read the article, you'll see that the browser will ignore extra white space, and that can come into play when you're typing in your code. We'll talk more about that later. Let's go ahead and add another paragraph here. So I'll put in a P element, press P and press tab, and let Sublime Text do the work for us. And here's what I'm going to type in for this one. I'm going to make it say, we have a big sale going on today. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to make the words big and sale show up as bold letters, so they stand out within the paragraph. So I can add some elements around those two words, big, sale. First of all, let's make it bold. So to make text bold, you wrap it inside of a B element. And when I say wrap, that just means you put the opening B element before it, and then the closing B element after it. Now, Sublime Text may not help you so much with filling out the code and syntax if you've already typed a line. So you might have to actually type in some of the stuff manually, but you'll figure it out. So anyways, what I've got here is I've put the words big and sale inside of a B element. So I'm going to go ahead and save my changes, Control S, Alt Tab over to the browser, and then hit refresh by pressing F5. And you can see that within the paragraph, the words big and sale are bolded. Let's go back over to Sublime Text now, and I not only want these to be bold, I want them to be underlined too, so they really catch your attention. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap all this, the entire B element, inside of a U element. U stands for underline. So I'm going to put an opening U tag right there, and then I'll put a closing U tag right there, and I'll press Control S to save it, and then I'll Alt Tab over to the browser, and I'll hit refresh, and you can see that it's underlined right now. So what we're doing with our HTML elements is we're structuring the content of a page. We're saying which text is big and which text is underlined, which text is a part of a paragraph. So we'll start to learn about different ways to structure your content with different elements as we move through the course.